had decided that the benefits provided by Spotlight were a tax on hope.
Nigel Cecil, calling things out as you like it, especially for his fair-minded friends.
Hello, Chakabatis. Welcome. Would you believe that it's nearly, well, at least over a year or so ago now, isn't it, Hilary, that at your request, getting in touch via this email address, you brought to our attention an issue concerning Spotlight, the UK home of casting, and Equity. And of course, we all know about Equity. Equity, the trade union for professional actors, variety, entertainers and other creatives across the United Kingdom, because it appeared that having had a symbiotic relationship over decades, Equity, now driven, it's fair to say over the last few years, by a more radical progressive socialist agenda, had decided that the benefits provided by Spotlight were a tax on hope. They were using their monopoly, or so they said it was a monopoly, which it isn't really, because you're all free to go where the heck you want. But Equity was saying that your membership subscriptions were now unfairly, unreasonably too high, and basically, Spotlights were making a profit out of actors, out of work, a tax on hope. And where is it now? Well, it's in the High Court at this very moment. It's being decided. Will it be decided? What will the judge say? Now, one of the things that's been brought to our attention, and we weren't aware of this, so only recently we've had a look, Act on This, a YouTube channel, and they've got a live stream recorded that's there. We'll put the link in the notes and put it on the screen with you, Hilary, that really delves into all the background far more than we've ever done. And it highlights the concerns, and it's well worth having a look, because, of course, one thing with Equity, as we said when it comes to governments, they only present their side of the issue. But now it's in the High Court. Now, again, many of you will know, of course, that in my alter ego, yes, we've got an ego, Hilary, yes, I was a vice president of Equity back in the day. And one of the things we were always told then when it came to High Court actions, or any action, but especially in the High Court, given the costs, you've got Equity's money. But it's not Equity's money, it's members' money. And you must never forget that, because that money's been taken from members who are out of work, looking for work. At any one time, 85% or so of the membership are out of work. So they are paying their subs in the expectation, in the hope that they are going to get work. A tax on hope. Is it? So what about Spotlight? When it comes to taking Spotlight to the High Court, here's what we were always told back in the day on the Equity Council. Unless you've got a 75 to 80% chance of success guaranteed by your legal advice, don't go to the High Court. It's not your money to throw around. However much you might believe you are correct, negotiation comes first before venturing to the High Court. So the questions to be asked about this High Court case: were negotiations explored in every possible way? And also, were Equity given at least a 70% chance, and more ideally, an 80% chance, indicated by the barristers, that they were likely to win? Because as a vice president years ago, there is not a cat in hell's chance we would have risked members' money, not Equity's money, members' money, in going to the High Court unless our chances of a success, even on the principle, were that high. What do you think? What do you think about this? And indeed, the other thing that's been brought to our attention, why now? Why in July? Because normally, you may recall in another video, we've said, your request, why was the election for the General Secretary brought forward to where it was, where they could acclaim it at the Londonderry conference? Because normally the voting would be taking place now. The ballot would be taking place now and wouldn't, well, close until possibly next week, according to the normal timetable. Would it have encouraged more members to be involved with equity in that ballot? Of course, it might have had the opposite effect. But it seems rather curious conspiracy theory, is it, Hillary, that the ballot for the General Secretary, which would normally take place in this month, has already happened. We'll leave that one with you. But 80%? If you were in charge of your money, your subscriptions, would you proceed to the High Court on, have they had an 80% chance of success put forward by equities solicitors? I hope they have. And in that basis, well, jolly well done. They've won and got rid of a tax on hope. I mean, that would be the outcome. But there again, if it was the outcome, is that going to be in the best interests of equity members, their professional interests? Do have a look at that video we've mentioned in the link. Act on This. We weren't aware of it, and it covers all various aspects, far more than we can do in these videos. So until the next time, as always, our email address, please get in touch and let us know what you think, because we always say to each and every one, good work, good art, and in showbiz, better keep your fingers crossed. Professional solidarity to everyone. And of course, let's hope it's not a tax on hope.